Hello and welcome to Unverified. I am Simba, aka Swizzy IV. I am joined by three averagely attractive boys, and today we are going to be doing an audio recording. Today we have Reese, aka Gamer Phantom. Hello, Reese. Reese is currently unresponsive, moving to next host. Today we have Isaac, aka Mechna Gamer.
Error 404. Isaac not found. Isaac not found. Error.
Response was incompatible with goals of audio recording, moving to next host. Lastly, we have Simi, but you may know him better as Tamago2474.
The audience retention graph is just gonna it goes from 100% in 0 seconds. At 2 seconds in, it's 12%.
Zero.
For real, man.
This song is optimistic.
Zemba is the realest automated machine. He does not do it for the views. He does it for the culture.
What culture?
You
Robots
may
have
be
no
wondering
culture.
why we have updated the Simba version. If you have not been keeping up, we are entering the new generation.
We're talking about the new generation of consoles, not the babies being born this year. Yes, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have launched. First off, can I just say the Xbox marketing team, it's been said before, but their naming of this new console honestly is a disaster to me. I saw a
Yes.
tweet today showing 2 game boxes for Call of Duty Cold War. One of them said Xbox at the top, and the other one said Xbox at the top.
Oh my
They look
God.
exactly the same,
No.
aside from in the Xbox Series X version, it has an extra little thing in the top right corner that says Series X.
God.
Now, do you know what makes it worse?
What?
On the cover of the actual, so underneath the green Xbox tag on the Cold War thing, it says Xbox One and Xbox Series X.
Oh my God.
That's for the Xbox One version. On the Xbox Series X version, it says Xbox Series X and Xbox One. Both versions are playable on the other console, but it's just that the Xbox One version is the lower quality version, even though you can play it on Xbox Series X.
But
And the Xbox Series X
Can you
version-
play the Xbox Series X version on the Xbox One?
Yes,
Yes.
you can, but it's
Interesting.
not going to run as well as it does on the Series X.
Oh my!
This is the
Yes.
Why
most
did they-
confusing thing I've ever seen.
You know, I knew it was a problem. Today I was looking up
What?
stuff for the podcast, and I wanted to find out when the Xbox One X came out. And then Google was like, "Oh, you mean the Xbox Series X?" I was like, "No, no, I
No,
don't."
the One X. The
I
One
typed it. I didn't say. Did you mean when I typed it up? The results came up for the Xbox Series X because it just, even Google was like, "I don't know, man."
Nobody
Yeah.
has a clue. My favorite thing was the tweet that they put out a few weeks ago. That was like, the Xbox One X games will be playable on the Xbox Series X, and Series X will be on the One X and One S. And it was just like, what does this tweet even? What does any of this sentence mean?
Yeah, see, I really just feel sorry for
Confusing.
like parents getting games for their kids for Christmas this year.
Mhm.
It's like they'll buy them the game thinking it's for one for the Xbox Series X, then the kid will start crying and complaining that's the lower quality version.
Yeah.
But the parent just didn't realize, they just didn't know.
Yeah, it's
I mean, even with just the console thing, they can be like, oh, it's just a new one. But they released 2 new consoles this year. They released the main one and a much less powerful version. It's just they're just all over the place.
Yeah,
Xbox,
Xbox is just-
start counting. We understand why you didn't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But just start now. Just
Sorry, when you say we understand why you didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is it because the Xbox came out at the same time as the PlayStation 2? And so
Yes.
they didn't want to have a lower number than the PlayStation?
because consumers, if you saw the
Yeah.
Xbox 2 and the PlayStation 3, just logic, you would assume the PlayStation 3 is the better
Yeah.
one.
Wow,
Yeah.
I've never thought of that before, but
Yeah.
that makes sense. So they were like, yo, we're just
They
skipping.
did,
We're
like,
going
they
to
just went
360.
Yeah.
but in the long run, it's
That is
just
funny.
It's just ended up being worse off for everybody. Yeah, it's just confusing. All right, big question I want to ask you first and foremost: how do you guys feel about these consoles comparatively to how you felt about the release of the PS4 and the Xbox One original?
The same.
The same?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, then how did you feel? I'm curious, how did you feel?
What's it? When the PS4 was being like announced and stuff, I just started to move over to PC, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get the new PS4. I'm not gonna get it. Then ended up getting it, and now with PS5, it's like, yeah, again, not in a rush to necessarily get it or not get it, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's no real excitement for it anymore.
That's fair.
I was very annoyed when the PS5 was announced, simply because that night I got a phone call from a family friend going, "Did you see the PS5 being announced? Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so amazing!" I was just like, right.
Yo, low key though, when the PS4 had that first conference, it wasn't even when they revealed the console. They had a conference for the PS4 telling you all about the specs and everything. I was interested for sure. It definitely was. I was starting to at a point starting to veer towards. I guess I hadn't started veering towards PC games yet because I guess it came out in 2013 is when PS4 came out. So I was still on console, so I was like, yo, this looks pretty cool. So I guess I cared a little bit. I wasn't super duper excited about it, but yeah.
It's a somewhat similar feel. Like 2013, that was a crazy year for gaming because The Last of Us came out. That was like, blew my mind.
Biggest
GTA
disappointment.
5.
GTA 5.
Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. GTA 5 was coming out.
Skyrim probably came out that year.
Again, yeah.
What year has Skyrim come out?
It's a yearly release, man. Just the same game. But yeah, no. With the PS4, the reason I wasn't as excited for it is the launch titles for the PS4 were very weak.
Hella weak.
They were universally hated,
Knack, bro.
Oh.
except for one.
Knack, exactly. Listen, I know it's a meme that Knack is amazing. Nah, Knack is actually not a good game, bro. I as someone who has played the whole game, I played the whole game for a series I never ended up making.
Timmy, if Knack wasn't a good game, then why would there be a Knack 2?
Why would they do
Oh
that?
my, alright, you got me there.
Facts.
You got
That
me
is the
there.
question.
Why is there a sequel if it's not good?
Again, the PS4 only had one good launch title, and that was Second Son.
That wasn't a launch title.
It was close enough.
It
No.
came out pretty close. It came out for me. I think it came out close enough.
It came out like
to consider it.
3 months afterwards, but sure. That means if you shout out the nearly £400 for a PS4, you were just sitting on your thumbs for 3 months.
Yeah.
Consoles haven't had good launch titles for a bit, you know? That's why you
Mhm.
just wait a few months. You wait like half a year to a year.
Yeah, I think
100%.
you.
Then you actually got games to play.
Go.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, if they want a console to be like getting people excited, I mean, if the Switch 2 got announced,
Yeah,
A
I don't
more
think they
powerful
would
Switch.
release one yet, but yeah. Or I'm waiting for like a pro version of the Switch.
I mean, yeah, there's the pro version of the Switch been like rumored for a while.
I just want them to fix the Joy-Cons, really.
Yeah.
Give it that Joy-Con trip.
That's really about it.
It doesn't exist though, Simba.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot.
They've literally been sued on every continent about Joy-Con drift. It
But
exists.
Isaac,
They cut.
Nintendo came out and said it's not a real issue. It's not actually an
They have been
inconvenience.
sued on every single continent. Literally every
Fake
continent.
lawsuits. No basis for them.
It's like the smoking Xbox Series X's, bro. It's just made up. It's a hoax.
Exactly.
Joy-Con drift isn't real. People are
Mhm.
vaping into their Joy-Cons and breaking them. That's what's happening.
Oh, why are people so
Yeah.
dumb?
I don't know.
No, like
man.
obviously on Twitter you have a lot of people posting videos saying, "Oh, Xbox just arrived and look at it," and it's a video of smoke coming out of the Xbox. Is like
Mhm.
crazy, and with its design, with the holes in the top, it looks like a smoke machine. It looks like that's what it was
Yeah.
designed
Yeah.
for.
Mhm.
But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, this always happens. There are always a few faulty consoles. People are going to blow this out of proportion,
Mhm.
and some of it might even be fake. Like, that's just kind of something that always happens.
Yeah.
But I just don't pay much attention to that stuff because console launches, there are always issues. And then it comes out that the smoking Xboxes are more of a hoax. What's actually happening is that people are blowing vape smoke into the back of the Xbox and it's coming through the system up through the top, and admittedly it does look very cool, but
Yeah,
you
but don't do it.
probably shouldn't be putting water, it's water vapor, you probably shouldn't be putting that
Yeah.
inside your brand new Xbox.
I'm sure condensation is very good for CPUs. I'm sure that's cool.
Yeah.
For
You need to hydrate. Hydration's important.
I'm sure water is more. I'm sure condensation is actually more likely to kill your computer than just water alone. Like, don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't fucking do that. That's just
Yeah,
that's
I've
just
seen
dumb.
a lot of people complaining that like they have the smoking Xbox and they're saying, oh look, it was smoking, it was on fire, whatever. That's why my Xbox is broken and doesn't work anymore, and it's broken after a day of use. Maybe it is, because you're vaping through your damn Xbox.
But yeah. See, my question is, what compelled these people in the first place to do this?
Looks
What,
sick.
who was the
Try and get a
first person
refund?
to try
Come on,
this?
think of it. You're a person who vapes, and the Xbox Series X is just sitting there with all those ventilation holes. We all understand why they vape through their Xboxes. It makes sense.
Or just simple, they don't expect vaping through the Xbox to break it. You vape through your Xbox, you put a video on the internet saying, I bought my brand new Xbox, it's on fire. What the hell, Microsoft? They go, okay, we send you a new one. Then you either think for yourself and go, I'm gonna sell this new Xbox, now I have more money. Or you're looking out for your friends and you give them an Xbox.
it's a plan. It's a strat, bro. Honestly, it just makes sense. I'd vape through.
Yeah.
my
And a lot of
Xbox.
people are just doing it for a viral video, to be fair. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, look, I got, 50,000 retweets on this video showing an Xbox that looks broken. Like, everyone does it. Like, people want to capitalize on console launches
Yeah.
for some clout,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's
Because there's a
just
bunch
clout
of
chasing.
PlayStation users hunting for anything wrong with an Xbox. There's a bunch of Xbox users hunting for anything wrong with a PlayStation.
100%.
And so if you upload any video like that, it
Yeah.
will blow up.
is that fanboy shit
Yeah,
still
just in
around?
gen-
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, it is.
It actually
It's
is.
no longer
surprisingly.
acceptable though.
It's not acceptable. We've
No.
no-noed it. Okay.
Yeah. People now have just basically gone, shut up, With
Yeah.
how
Correct
like
response.
everyone is doing like cross-platform, all of that. People are just like, shut up. Just play whatever you can get. Just play the games.
Yeah, that just seems like such an outdated thing for anyone to still be doing.
Yeah.
Bro. But now that I say that, though, Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, though, big questions. Which one's for you guys?
Xbox wins, I'm sorry.
Really?
Wait, you serious?
I saw a thing. Apparently, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be on Game Pass day one.
Yeah,
They win.
All right. Well,
They win.
Reese is on that Xbox
Yeah.
Live now.
We
Fair.
sold.
Even
Sound
just for that, just
reasoning.
from Game Pass alone, Xbox wins.
To be fair,
It is a good
It is a
deal.
good deal.
Forget the console,
It is a
just
good
that.
deal. It is a good deal. What about you, Sammy?
I'm a Sony pony. Like, PlayStation is
is
my favorite games have come from PlayStation. PlayStation has the exclusives, and they're gonna continue to have the exclusives.
Because I wonder how much longer PlayStation exclusives are gonna be a thing. Because the Crash Bandicoot came out, then after like a year, they released that to all other consoles. Horizon Zero Dawn was another very big one. After a year, they released it to other consoles.
That was way more than a year, I swear. That was like that game's been out for a long time. They
I think it's been about like a year since like the
Yeah.
last DLC thing that got released, right? Like a year, maybe a year and a half.
Right, I don't know about DLC, but it's been like 3 years since the game
Yeah.
itself.
Like once they were done, and like so their games, it seems to maybe they're slowly moving to not being an exclusive, but be a like an exclusive
Timed
window.
exclusive. Yeah.
I see that, but I don't know if they're gonna let go of their other ones. To be fair,
I don't think they'll let go of Naughty Dog,
no,
No,
Oh,
that's
hell
fine.
no.
not in so.
but
I
the
think-
rest I think are fair game.
But yeah, it's just become harder and harder to justify it to these studios because it's like, I mean, we could, just release it on here, and like get this sweet overview. However, there's an entire market out there which we haven't dipped our toes into because of this exclusivity deal. So
That's why Xbox is just buying
Yeah.
the studios. It's just like you work for us now. You don't get a say. It doesn't even matter what you think.
And they've been getting some good studios,
They have, but you know what the thing is, right? You see, Xbox have dug their own grave for me.
How so?
I have a really pretty powerful computer, and Game Pass is like $10 a month.
yeah.
If I can play all the games that come out of this console at the same level or better on my computer that I already
is true.
own,
Yeah.
why would I spend £400 on your console?
Yeah, that's why if I'm gonna get any of the consoles, it's gonna be the PS5.
Yeah,
Mm.
it
Yeah.
may have cool
Yeah.
exclusive, but it's just an easy one. for me.
Microsoft are
It's
playing
just-
a different game though.
Yeah,
Microsoft out here with chess with Sony on checkers, Microsoft don't. Sure, they're trying to sell the console, but it doesn't seem like that's not their main focus anymore. They're just trying to sell you games.
Microsoft
Yeah.
is definitely going software.
Yeah. And like during E3 when they're like Xbox and Windows exclusive.
Yeah.
It's like that's not remove the word exclusive. It's not
It's not
exclusive.
exclusive. It's not exclusive.
It's still a Microsoft exclusive.
Not on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Or Linux or Mac or Stadia.
That's like mentioning your game's not on the Ouya. No one cares.
Yeah.
Also not on Switch or
Yeah.
Nintendo ecosystem.
That's true. But yeah, so I can just, I can just play all of Microsoft games. Now, whether or not I can play them at the same quality is up for question. Because, these companies out here trying to tell us how powerful their consoles are. So, like, both of these consoles have claimed that they can play at 8K.
Yep.
Wow.
They basically also claim that, like, pretty much most of the new games coming out right now, they're claiming that it could smoothly run 4K at 144 hertz. Or
Okay, I
FPS
was
even.
almost with you there. 4K 60? Yes. 144? Again.
I'm not even doing 1080 at 144 with these things. I don't know what you think you're doing.
So the PS5 specs right now is basically, it's like an 8-core CPU running about 3.5 gigahertz, which I think is probably similar to what me, Reese, and Simi have, CPU side. GPU-wise is where they kind of come out on top. But they're boasting 10.28 teraflops, which, if true, that means the graphics card inside the PS4 is about as powerful as a 2080, maybe a 2080 Super. And if you look up benchmarks for the 2080, it's running games at max setting at about 4K 60 to 70, depending on the game. 120?
Right.
Nah. 144? Nah. 8K? Never. For reference for how never 8K is, the new 3090, like the 1,300 pound graphics cards that's released, it can play Valhalla at 8K at about 20 something frames per second.
Wow.
Yikes.
Right.
Not
Doesn't surprise me.
Not happening. I just so many versions of no.
Maybe though, the PS5, the Xbox, maybe it can play 8K. A frame
Two
of
frames.
8K, but it can play 8K. You get
You
one.
play Pong in 8K.
It's just
Man.
only visual novels run at 8K on the PS5.
Yeah.
Only visual
What other games
novels.
are you trying to play?
For real. See, the only thing that they might have advantage for them, at least for the 4K 120 claim, is the one advantage console gets with their hardware, and why like a PS4 could run things better than you would run those specs just straight out of a computer. And the reason is because when developers are making games for consoles, if they're making it especially if they're just making it for the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series Y exclusives, especially look very beautiful. They're just working with one hardware system, and they can work as hard as they can to optimize purely for that. With that being the case, there may be some PlayStation 5 exclusives that run 4K 120. 8K?
Maybe.
No.
Minecraft?
Minecraft?
Minecraft.
8K
No.
Minecraft?
8K Minecraft? Not with ray tracing though. Minecraft ray tracing is demanding, bro.
One thing I will give the consoles though is for the kind of specs and power they do give, the price actually isn't that bad.
It's way
Yeah.
more. I think if the specs of the PS5 on the PC is like $1,000 and a bit. So it's a really good deal. If you guys bought the PS5, would you buy the non-digital version?
Yeah, I'd get the disc version because I
Really?
still like having the box for it,
I'd be conflicted. Like Sibby, I don't know, for console games I do just prefer have a disc. And first of all, the new console I think has terabyte storage, right?
About, yeah.
Games are too big to be having digital downloads. You have to have a disc for a console.
Yeah, but you say that, but all these games install when you put the disc in too. They have like massive
Yeah.
installs still.
See, we can't all have like gigabit internet, so if I want to go play my game, I can go, alright, delete that one, put in the disc, 20 minutes, done. Not 20 days.
It still takes
Sure.
time. Though. It still takes time. That's like a buffer period. That's God's buffer period for you to wait.
You use an external drive.
On the PS, you could on the,
External disc drive. Because if you can, then you just get the digital version.
yeah, but
right?
at that point,
That's
it's
a really
it's about a
interesting
£90
question.
price difference. So it's like it's up to you, I
Significant.
guess. Yeah, that's the only reason why it's like I don't care for physical games, and it's £90 I'd be saving. That's that's a lot of money. That's a game nowadays, bro.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
game nowadays.
That's a whole game, bro. So like, how do you guys feel about the price of games?
You're going up, so they're like £70 or $70 nowadays.
See, what you're forgetting is, right, is that's not even still true. From my experience, games are now like around £60. but they're not around £60. Because around you buy the game for £60, and then you start playing it, and you go, oh, they cut a bunch of content for the Ultimate editions, and then it's like, oh, okay, here's an extra £20 for the rest of the game you promised me.
Yeah, bro.
And then maybe a bit more on that. Like, I'm looking at, say, the new Assassin's Creed, where you get the standard edition for 50, and then the gold edition, which has like a couple of extra things here and there, and then that's like £85 almost. Previously, for like, if you're paying like £85 or like 80 around that type price for a special copy of the game, that would be the game, all its DLC, an art book, maybe a nice map, maybe a nice statue,
some pins and stuff.
Yeah, it would be like
true.
a collection for that game for that price, and now it's just the bare bones.
That's the game.
Legit. Yeah, you get the game for that price.
That's it.
You get some of the game.
Because that day one DLC.
If you have content available to be released day one, why isn't it released day one? Why am I paying?
That's so true, bro. That's so true. Extra content. I mean, you removed it from the main game, bro.
Imagine if you went to a restaurant and it's like, oh, here's your food. Oh, you wanted cutlery? You're gonna have to pay extra for that. Like, no, that's part of my meal.
Legit.
You gotta buy the championship edition.
It's like they know people will buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because people are buying it, they're like, wait a minute, we can make so much more money if we release half of the game. What? And so it just incentivizes it, and it becomes normalized.
So the thing about that is as well, it's a win-win, because like if they do that, people still like the base game, then cool, people buy the DLC. However, if people don't like the base game because it's like, oh yeah, you skimped on content, then when they do release the next DLC with all the content, people go like, whoa, this DLC fixes all of my problems. Well, everyone buy this DLC because it makes the game amazing, and so it's literally a win-win, because people will celebrate it as if they had done something good rather than adding in what should have been.
You're then forgetting all these games are some form of open world MMO multiplayer tagged onto the back of it, or like a battle royale tagged onto the back of it, in some way to basically just force microtransactions down your throat. If you're a fan of the multiplayer, you have to be constantly putting in so much more to be able to just exist.
And then like there's some companies that have no respect. When you have like NBA 2K21, you go to your store, you paid £70 for your game, and then you go in there and there's like a Sprite advert in the middle. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's just because games themselves have turned like more into businesses or into services. Like it's full game levels.
Well, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with being a business. You got to make money, but the problem is that games doing this thing, and I think movies has done it already as well, where it's like the quality of what you're offering is getting worse, and you're normalizing us accepting terrible quality things and less, and you're just charging us more and more for it each time. Like, it's
the worst part about it is because like with other things, like it's like, oh, you're charging a lot for this, okay, I'll just get a replacement. Like even though there are other games which you might like, there's not going to be a replacement for Spider-Man Miles Morales specifically. There will be games which may be similar, but that game is now just off the market for you if you're like, okay, that's too much.
Yeah, definitely. And you definitely, especially when you're invested into like an IP, it's like they know they've got you. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's like with Call of Duty, they have been doing all sorts of madness, and they still rake in stupid amounts of money. Even when people say they hate the games.
Yeah, it's tradition to go, I'm not going to get the new Call of Duty. I've got the old one. They didn't change anything. I'm not going to get it a month later. Hey, this new Call of Duty is kind of cool.
How did I end up why do I Battle.net on my computer? When did this happen?
It's just good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They change just enough that you don't get mad about it, but they don't change enough to actually like be significant.
That's the thing, though.
In some games,
the whole industry has just like gone, we're just gonna go to making good enough. So that's the standard now. Like you can't. It's like because everywhere you go, it's just gonna look like that, you know. So it's just. I don't.
I feel like that's because maybe at the start, like everyone making these games, they were to an extent like passion projects. People really wanted to make them as good as possible. Wanted to give the best experience to people, and then now it's gotten like very like corporate in a sense of it's just like the only thing that matters now is the profit. We don't care about anything else, so do the bare minimum for the maximum price. and then push it out.
Well, I think that I think it's a mix right now, because I think game developers still care about making good games.
Oh yeah, game developers
But
do.
game developers also have to feed their families and shit. So you got to work at Ubisoft, you got to work at EA. Those are the people who are making money. So you got to work there, and that's why you can tell there's like some effort put in, because they want to do the best that they can. They don't want to make a bad product. But then they are juggling being, run by these like very corporate entities who, like, for them, video games are investment. When we go and talk about stock markets, when you look at the people who are investing into things like Take-Two, these aren't like game companies. These are like banks and shit. They just care about getting their bag. They don't care about how good. They don't care if you got a 10 on IGN if it doesn't mean there's more bag,
But yeah, you can even take a company like Rockstar, who have always been known for being very like passionate and loving their games, and wanting to give a good experience to the consumers. And then since GTA 5's like extreme blow up and Take-Two's heavy involvement in the post of that launch, we've seen the people who at Rockstar were known for not wanting to exploit the consumers, not wanting to bleed every penny out of them, mysteriously disappear or quit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because like these games are now costing several like GDPs to even produce as well. So you want to
Yes, they
keep,
are.
even if you're doing it as a passion project, you need to please the investors, and then it just becomes a cycle. Like I feel like this is just kind of almost the fate of a lot of these kind of creative industries, where people start doing it as a passion project. They're like really enjoying it, start earning more money from it to like make it bigger, and then all of a sudden their passion start becoming bigger. They need more money to do it, and then now they're basically just answering to the higher ups who want them to make more money rather than making what they want. And this is, again, we've seen similar things with movie industries. We've seen it with a lot of creative industries, and it's just a shame, but it's just kind of the nature of industries, unfortunately, because people want profits, and if profit means skimping on content and releasing stuff with DLCs and predatory business practice, then that's what profit is.
Yeah. Well, you say games are getting more expensive. I feel like it's not the case for all of them. Like I don't know how much money it makes to make every new FIFA, but I'm sure it's not worth the championship edition costing £100 of my real life money that I worked
£20-30. Hire a dude for an afternoon to switch some players
and that's the same. It's
maybe
for games that come out like every year or two, I'm like, it can't cost that much more than it was costing before to be making these games, especially some of these games that went from being 5-year developments to like 1 or 2. It's like it can't cost more now. You must just be making more profit at this point.
No, but yes, I was about to say that makes it even better for the companies, because think about why invest into these ones which are costing several GDPs when you can invest into games which are costing
That's
a
my
lot
point.
less.
Is that they're just screwing us. Is my point. It's like they're just increasing their profits, and then they're like, "Hey, yo, we're just gonna make games more expensive if you don't mind." Can you believe the FIFA 21 Championship Edition is £100? Why? Why?
And people will buy it and then buy packs. It's like,
what do you get for that? Do you get like a ticket to see the next like match or something?
I don't know,
bro.
bro. I don't know.
You get
Or
to
do you get
reenact
FIFA?
the match in FIFA.
I don't know. Do you guys feel like gaming is becoming a bit too expensive of a hobby these days? As an adult who even makes money now, I feel like I have to be very precious about what games I'm buying, because they just cost so much. Like I have to go, I want this one. I want this one. I can't be like if you buy every game that comes out in a year, like you must be like, I don't know, you must be remortgaging your house or something.
Yeah. Let's say you buy, I'd say a hardcore gamer might buy 15 AAA games in a year,
15?
maybe. Right?
I think so.
Okay, let's say 10 AAA
I'd
games
say a
in a year.
hardcore like gamer by between 5 to 10 in a year.
Yeah, like 5-10.
All right. Let's say they buy 10. That's £600 down the hole that you spend on these games.
Or he's considering his life choices.
That's literally a month rent. That is
Because I am the person who just got the new Spider-Man and Assassin's Creed, probably gonna get Cyberpunk. Probably gonna get a new Hitman when it comes out, like whatever. Don't put numbers like that in front of my face, Simi. Don't do that.
I just feel like I've said it before. If you want to be a gamer, you have to be a streamer. That's the only way you're making a return on this.
It just costs so much money. Because like if you think about other hobbies and stuff, like even if you watch movies, it's like only like what, £20 or less for a cinema ticket, and there's like really good deals for it. Like if you here there's like Odeon Unlimited, which is like £16 a month. You can watch as many movies as you want every month, which is really great. And there's other hobbies which aren't consumption hobbies. You buy a tennis racket. How often are you replacing a tennis racket? You know?
Depends on how hard you go.
It does depend on how hard you go. bro. But yeah, and then like if you have like a Switch and you're buying like new Joy-Cons every 6 months because they're made of like dirt. Or
That's
whatever.
optimistic.
Simba, okay, Simba, real gamers don't buy new Joy-Cons. You just put up with it and you fight it, Simba. A real gamer learns.
Isaac, have you tried to beat Hollow Knight with Joy-Con drift, bro? Have you tried to play Hollow Knight with Joy-Con drift?
Okay, Simba, games like Hollow Knight, fair.
Yeah.
You could play Mario Kart with a bit of drift, easy.
Yeah, that's
play
fine.
any sort of like
I
platformer.
could play Animal Crossing with the Joy-Con drift, but when I'm gaming all night and I'm in like a precision boss fight, I can't have my controller going, no, now you're going left.
See, Simba, I'd argue Stardew Valley is also too much.
It is. I agree with you.
You're getting like your
You'll plant
perfect
something in
lines
the
and
wrong-
suddenly, yeah, you go
Agreed.
once, it's like, well, I'm
Agreed.
deleting the save now.
100%.
That would be a nightmare.
I'm with
Yeah,
you on this one.
agree
I
with
can't
that.
play Still
I
on my
agree with
Switch
that, actually.
anymore. I agreed. But yeah.
That's why, well, I mean, luckily though, that new PS5 controller that is apparently the second coming of Christ, best thing to ever grace this earth, you could use that on your Switch.
Can you?
Apparently. You can get an adapter that you can plug into the dock and you can use that controller on Switch. You might be able to plug it into the like USB-C at the bottom. I'm not sure, but as far as I'm aware, yeah, you can plug it into the dock to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that controller, though, I'm excited. I've just heard people say really good things, and I've seen demonstrations of it. There's a video someone posted of how the triggers
they
act
function.
differently depending on the gun in Call of Duty Cold War, and it just looks really cool. And it's possibly gimmicky, but I actually think if games really do a good job at utilizing it, it can be a very engaging.
That's the problem
factor.
right there. Because the Switch
Yeah.
Joy-Cons are really good, but like not many games utilize the technology in there. So it's like,
I was about to say the same thing. Like, a lot of these things do have really cool and really in-depth technology, but very few to no actual developers, apart from like in-house first-party ones, actually use even half the things that a lot of these controllers can do.
literally, bro, I
Right.
felt the same way about the SSD on the fucking PlayStation 5. I was like, all right, cool, it's a really good SSD, but if the Xbox's one isn't as good, they're not going to develop your game differently for the PlayStation 5 unless it's a first-party developer. So it's like, this is kind of useless for most people.
Yeah, like Simi, like I agree with you. Like things like that are cool. It's just that it's only really cool when like companies actually buy into it a lot more and
Yeah.
explore it.
Which is why like the evolution of consoles is actually very like useful for people who play games on PC, because third party like games will always be held back to some degree by what's possible on consoles, because game developers aren't going to completely add in all these new features unless they really give a shit that are specifically for PC. So it's in like the fact that the PlayStation 5 has ray tracing is really good for someone like me who's just stupid and has an RTX card, because that means that more games are going to actually make my £400 worth of my money. Those things are useful, but yeah, like the controller is sick, but it's just how many people gonna use it, how many people gonna do
Yes,
something
unless
with it.
Xbox is doing the same thing, nobody's gonna go out of their way to spend all this extra time on a PlayStation feature when,
Yeah. Well, Call of
most
Duty's
people won't
done it.
notice.
The fact that Call of Duty did it though gives me hope, because if Call of Duty's gonna do it, maybe everyone will do it.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what exactly is it about these triggers with Call of Duty?
Right. So if you have a shotgun, for example, the trigger will pull back a little bit, and then you have to pull it harder, just like an actual gun trigger, right? To actually shoot off the shot. If you have a submachine gun, it's really easy to pull the
Is
trigger.
this something you can,
If you have a
turn it
regular
off?
pistol, it's easy. Yeah, you can turn it
Okay.
off. The competitive
Okay.
players, for the competitive players,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was thinking for the pro gamers. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
if you're
But
pro.
yeah, it just gives that sort of realistic gun feel, like how far back you can pull, the tension, and different things like that. And there's also, they have a sort of showcase game,
Astro's Playroom.
Astro's Playroom, that's right. And it's literally just a demo for the haptic feedback feature of the controller. So if you're walking on an icy platform in the game, it will feel smoother, like not just the triggers, but actually on the controller, the rumble will be different. If you're walking through sand, it will feel different. Grass will feel different. Like it's one of those things where I feel like you have to use it, but just based on those descriptions, I want to get my hands on it and see like, what is this all about?
Give it a try.
But you're gonna have to get the PS5. You can't just get a controller and play it on PC. You're gonna have to get the PS5 to have any chance
True.
of that. But no, with that trigger thing though, to me that just sounds like the triggers will wear out faster. I'm sure they've done all the testing to mean it won't. But like, if people start feeling that their triggers, are being a little bit more tough, they're gonna start being a lot more tough on their triggers. You're gonna start abusing them a bit more. I just wonder if it's just gonna make them break faster.
I actually do wonder that too, and I've seen
yeah.
like in comments of videos people saying, "Yo, it feels like this might be a thing that will break eventually," and
Yeah.
I guess time will tell. How long did it take for Joy-Con Drift to develop for you guys? Do all three of you have Joy-Con Drift?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simi,
Right.
the answer to that question is it depends on the game you started playing your Switch with. Because my Switch
okay.
was fine the entire time I had it for at first, and then Smash Bros came out.
Yeah.
A month after Smash Bros came out, my Joy-Con.
I was fine until Mario Kart.
Okay.
Find me one person who plays a racing game that doesn't put the analog stick all the way up and then turn. If anyone says they just stay in the middle and go left, right, they
fake.
probably kill people in their spare time. I don't trust them people. They're liars. You can't yeah, you. I can't trust these people. They think they do that, but you don't. In your mind, you think.
Yeah, I'm not much of a big gamer, so my one I got my Switch in August 2018, and it wasn't until some point last year that I started noticing the fucking skirt to the side. Yeah.
It's basically like but like I was somewhat using the Switch, and it's like a month when I was like actually like heavily using the Switch, and by the end of that month, they were drifting.
Yeah, if you're a true gamer, it'll happen quick.
They go quick.
Yeah, they'll go fast.
I mean, you can get them replaced and fixed for free.
Allegedly.
No, you can. You can get your Joy-Cons that came with your Switch replaced for free.
Oh yeah.
But you have to have the original box of your Switch, package your entire Switch up, and send the entire system back to them. To replace the Joy-Cons.
To be fair, I partially get why they did that to make sure that people didn't make modifications, and that wasn't the reason. But it still is just like a lot.
Modifications to the Switch that would have affected the Joy-Cons?
Oh, nothing that voids the warranty.
But it could just be any sort of modification.
Just to make sure you have still warranty.
Unintentionally affect it.
Okay, no, I think it's maybe
too,
for the warranty. That makes sense. Okay, makes sense. All right, quick question. The new Spider-Man game has come out. It's the launch title for the PS5. And Sony has been dubbing this a brand new game, but I'm ever skeptical. To me, I sustain that I think it is an expandalone, which is basically like a standalone expansion, which the devs said themselves. The devs said this, and that's what the game is. But then Sony was like, yo, we have a console to sell. This is a new game. And they're like, yo, guys, look at our brand new game. And that's kind of where I sit. I think it's more for standalone expansion, kind of in the ways of like Undead Nightmare, Infamous First Light, Ballad of Gay Tony, those type of things, where it's like it's like a brand new experience, new story from the person, different, maybe even a completely different perspective, but it's using a lot of the same assets from the previous game and building upon that, maybe fixing up some certain features, adding in some new stuff, but it's just a very, very high quality DLC. It's still building off a lot of what the game was from before. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think Sony is just trying to pull up one under us so they can sell PS5s?
Yeah, I want to hear what Reese has to say, because he's
Reese is actually beaten the game twice now.
I've beat the game twice and platinum the game.
Yeah, because game.
I would say it is worthy of being its own game. It is the same map because it's New York. There's so much you can do to New York. There's not new islands or anything, so it is the same map. It is also a smaller game in the sense of, I believe the Spider-Man game was like 10 to 15 hours, and this game is apparently around like 10 hours of just like the story.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a shorter game. It has less content than the other game. It's not necessarily a sequel. It is definitely feels like a more filler, similar to how like Assassin's Creed Rogue was, of like it's its own game completely separate, but it's made as more of like a filler game between the two like main games, if that makes sense. And I know to like make up with this, they like it wasn't a full price game either. It was only like 50 instead of like the usual 60 or 70 that games are nowadays.
Yeah, well, for me, just going off of playtime, because I've looked it up, there's a site, How Long to Beat, which gives like averages based on like tons of people putting it in. And apparently, the Marvel's Spider-Man game PS4 main story will take 17 hours, main story plus extras 24 hours, and completion is about 33 hours. And then apparently, this new game is clocking in at 6.5 hours for the main story, 10 hours plus extras, and 15 hours completionist, which is like, that's quite a lot less content to me. I think even the lower pricing is fine, but I feel like this push for it to be like the new Spider-Man game, I feel like that's partially like Sony are like, yo, people need to buy our console and shit.
I think that's fair. I guess another part of it is just the fact that there is a new main character of this game, which does make it feel separate from the original Spider-Man as well. I think that's definitely a huge part of it. And it's one of those things where it's like, if FIFA can claim that they're releasing a new game every year, this definitely can be a new game, like.
See, at the same time, though, if we keep that mentality for other games, then we come into a cycle where, what if every game starts doing that? I mean, if these other games are claiming that, we're a new game, then it's basically saying, then why can't we? And then we'll kind of get into a place where games start stagnating more, maybe. But no, I do agree that this year does seem like a standalone expansion.
If a game shows up where it's tweaked the majority of things and refined most things and, solved some issues that the previous had, changed some things to the better or entirely in some cases, I think that's fine to be considered a new game.
That was
It's
Ballad
like
of Gay Tony, though.
it's a
Ballad of Gay
sequel.
Tony did that. That's what, like, a standalone expansion, in my opinion, is supposed to do. I just feel like accepting this and going, brand new game is part of this thing where we just keep lowering the quality. And if we go, okay, you can give us a game that's about a third of the length using the same city with very similar assets and tweak stuff, and we'll just let you charge the same amount. It's like, I feel like that's not it. It's not the one.
Yeah.
And that's not me devaluing the game. From what it looks like, the game looks really good, and I'm stupid. I'd probably still buy it because it looks really cool. But I think just like accepting this is just like, all right, give us a third of the story content, same city, very similar stuff going on, clearly much less development time, new game. Especially if a standard had like a studio has set a quality for what their games are like, and we're like, just forget all that, and you can just call it a new game. Like, because I feel like that's why there was that messaging shift, because I think the studio considers it a standalone expansion, but I think Sony don't want people to see it as that.
Yeah, they want new game, PS5. This is our launch title, and it makes sense. It's
They
a
don't
very
have
smart
anything
decision.
else.
Yeah, they have to, I get it. Like, I totally.
I mean,
get it.
Godfall, I guess. I don't know who's talking about Godfall.
No one.
And Demon Souls. So for the people who like, suffering, they can play that game. But
I've been playing Nier
for people who
Automata,
like
so
fun,
maybe I like that.
they can play Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like, again, I think the new Spider-Man looks really cool, but I just feel like I just think it's going to set a bad precedent for us to just allow that to happen. The thing is, I say that I can't change anything. I think people have already seen it as a new game because the marketing has worked. But
Yeah.
I low-key would buy the new Spider-Man game for the fucking Spideyverse suit alone. Just for that,
that's really
just
cool.
for that alone, I would buy it. I'd be like, you can have my £60. It's cool. Take my money, please.
I think the Spider-Verse suit may have been a pre-order thing.
No,
I could be wrong, but I think they did make it a
I love the
pre-order
gaming
thing.
industry.
Oh god, I hate gaming.
Gaming industry.
you
is
had to get
lovely.
you had to get in there the day before and pre-order it.
Oh god, gaming. It's that stupid thing, man. That's how they get you. It's like, like that fucking Mario
they get you.
collection on
They
the Switch,
Yep.
which I know I'm going to buy because I'm
I
like,
still haven't bought it yet, but I know I'm going to.
I know I'm going to, because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get to February and be like, oh no, I didn't buy this collection that has Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. And I'm just not gonna buy it. Like, come on. I probably would never play it, but I'm like, I gotta own it though.
Limited things, these limited time and pre-orders, man. They get you every
Yeah.
time.
Bro, this is the problem with gaming, is they keep doing this shit because they know we're just gonna swallow it, because we don't have, what options do? Like, they
Exactly.
know we're just
Listen.
gonna firm it.
Like, Insomniac knows everybody loves Into the Spider-Verse, and so they go, hey, if you pre-order our game, you get a little thing from Into the Spider-Verse. Everyone's like, hell yeah, I'm getting that.
100%, man. Ugh.
As a minimum, Wilson Fisk, he's not really a part of this game. He's more part of like the first game. If wearing the Spider-Verse suit, the one cutscene that he's in, if he was Spider-Verse Fisk, would have been worth it alone.
100%. I would have bought a PS5
that
for
is
that.
Such a good idea.
I would have bought PS5 to
Yeah.
see Spideyverse Will Fisk with ray tracing, bro.
That's all they needed. Insomniac, I'm sure you could patch that. Hire me.
Patch that for real. Anyways, bro, this
I
fucking
might put it
podcast needs
Reese.
a patch because this shit needs to come to an end. Wait, that's not what patches do. That it doesn't need a patch. Something. I don't know. Segue. Yeah.
something segue.
Something segue. Not off a cliff though. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Only real ones get that reference. Yeah. We've been your boys. Get talking about gaming. I think we fixed gaming this episode, guys.
If anyone who's fixed gaming, it's Microsoft with Game Pass.
Yo, shout out to Game Pass. We didn't talk much about that, but yeah, Game Pass is kind of a useful antidote to the fact that games are getting so expensive. You can just pick up a shit ton of games for a lot cheaper. We'd like to give you all the time in the world to go finish playing those games. So you're gonna have to go away from this podcast now. Do you boys have anything to finish off with? Any last final words?
You people that have bought the PlayStation 5 and are selling it on eBay for £1,000, you're a special kind of person, but I understand the
I
hustle.
understand that.
I guess my closing statement is just like Simba said, you could like go and play games, or you could not. Instead, you could come and watch us every Friday playing games. You don't need to play the games. We'll play them for you.
Exactly.
Like, give us your money and we'll play the games for you.
.tv/Unverified show every Friday, 7 p.m. GMT, baby.
You're an affiliate. You are legally allowed to give us your money now.
Legally allowed to give us your money now, if you want to. If you want to support the boys, help them make some bread. We want a PS4 one day, and we'll never be able to afford that if we're on the streets. Think about that.
Exactly.
Think about that. Haris, what you got to say?
I'll just build on Simi's point. So the people who have bought a PS5, make sure you use that like reaction time and dedication to like do something like that with the 5 seconds it's available. Apply that to other areas as well. Apply that dedication to any other area. You'll be fine.
Hit that fucking buy button ASAP, Rocky.
Oh yeah, and hit that like button below this video.
Exactly. Use the same
if
speed.
you're listening to the video
Or if
version.
you've got like a few hundred subscribers on YouTube, just hit Sony up. Just be like, hey, yo, you want to give me a free PS5? It might work.
When are we sending the email, boys? It's like, hey, Sony, we need 7.
We need 7 PS5s. Can you just
Think about it.
can you
Unverified.
patent that?
Please.
7 PS5s? Come
PS5.
on. All with
Yeah.
Miles Morales on it, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And
Thank
and the pre-order bonus, even
Yeah, and the pre-order
Okay.
bonus.
Okay, fine. One of them you can leave Miles Morales out, but just attach a £50 note.
Just put an IOU instead. It's a Miles Morales box.
Yeah.
It just says IOU. Yeah, for real. But yeah, no. If you want to see and hear more of us, there are so many places to do that. We are on every corner of the internet. You can't escape us. We're on TikTok. We have a TikTok. That's how wide spanning we are.
Allegedly.
We have a Reddit. We have a subreddit. We have everything. That's reddit.com/r/unverified, TikTok Unverified Show, Twitter Unverified Show, Twitch Unverified Show, youtube.com/unverified. You can find us in so many places. It's crazy.
You can even find us in your fridge.
It's
I mean,
insane.
can't,
No,
but
you
really
cannot
good.
find us in your fridge. Don't look, please. Thank you very
If
much.
you left your phone in the fridge, it's possible.
If you find Isaac in your fridge, we are not affiliated with his actions. That was all him. Thank you. Yes.
It was Simba's idea.
Not my idea at all. No. And if you really do love the show, please leave a rating on like places like iTunes. It makes a difference. If you love the show, make sure other people get to listen to it too. Give it some ratings. Don't be a hipster. Share it. Don't be like, there's this cool podcast, but I want to keep it small. No, that's not what cool people do. Cool people share, because sharing is caring. All right.
It's
And I
true.
know you
Do you
care.
really want to be proud of your friends? Do you really want to be proud of everyone you know?
You wanna
From us. Honestly.
tell all your good friends, And if you hate the show,
Even your
the
bad
and if you
ones.
hate your show, send our show to your enemies so you can ruin their day. It's genius. No matter what, you gotta share the show. That's the point. You gotta share it. And if you want to,
I mean, even if you like it, share it to your enemies too, then they won't have time to be, competing with you. You win.
Think about if your worst enemy shared this with you, you'll become their best friend in an instant. We've solved world peace.
Yo, we solved
We've
gaming
it.
and world peace. That's genius. And if you want to help us solve some more problems, you should join our Discord. Link in the description. Other than that, we've been your 4 beautiful, handsome boys. And yeah, this has been the Unverified Podcast. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay in Zoom, as a wise man once said.
Peace.
Game on.
Stay on Zoom.
Stay in Zoom.